trust your crypto assets to centralized exchanges that actively sell your private information and front run your trades? Would you like to buy and sell your assets without any middlemen, intermediaries, or robots? Do you like paying slippage, fees, and having the price go up as bots steal from you on low liquidity, decentralized exchanges? The solution is nodemarket.io. Set your guaranteed buy or sell price. No middlemen, no slippage, no bots, ever. Buy or sell 1, 10, or even 10 million tokens, and you never have to worry. OTC trades are between you and the seller or buyer, guaranteed by audited smart contracts and no human middlemen. Nodemarket.io.
Do your best turkey sound. See if you can do it.
Actually, the sounds that I used on that video are from me. I recorded those in a studio.
Those are real turkeys that you were about to slaughter?
No, that's me. I made those out of my mouth. When I used to live in Romania, we decided we wanted to do a turkey for Christmas, right? So we went to the farmer's market. We bought this turkey and we kept him for a month. We tried to fatten this thing up in the attic of our little place there. So we had him.
And then you guys fell in love with it.
And the thing, no, we fed that thing corn. We fed it everything we could, and we couldn't fatten this thing up enough. So by the time Turkey Day came, this thing was still like skinny as like a little road runner that you find in Arizona. But we took that thing anyway. We took it down to the courtyard, and it was my job. Is this too bloody? I don't know if I should tell
you killed a skinny turkey?
I feel bad, but we ate it. We ate the thing.
It doesn't matter. You don't eat a skinny turkey.
You gotta eat what you have. Like, that's all we had in Romania. That's it, dude.
If anybody here doesn't understand why AI is going to eradicate humanity, that right there tells you everything you need to know.
That's the story. Anyway.
All right. Do we have any general housekeeping you want to get out of the way?
I want to show you something. Can I show you something?
Please do.
It's not housekeeping as much. Oh, also Wendy. Or never mind. I'm not going to say that. I almost blew up. All right, here we go. Let's go with share screen. Gas prices are absolutely through the roof right now, so it is what it is. Dude, my thing's frozen. It won't share.
What the heck? Say, that's on you, buddy.
No, I know. I think I have too many tabs open. That's probably it. So gas prices through the roof. It's hindering all Ethereum transactions everywhere, including Node Market, which sucks, but it is what it is. But check this out. Well, bam! We're so close to finalizing this thing. So it shows how many NFTs you got, your eligible claim amount. It's even going to do a history. So we have like a history page so you can see all the withdrawals that you've done, which we weren't going to integrate, but we decided to integrate this anyway. And then this is your claim. So if you have like $344, you can see this person has 10 NFTs, so 344 times 10. So they're eligible to withdraw $3,440. All you do is click one button. Boom. So you connect your wallet. You'll be able to withdraw your NFT, your revenue share, and things like that. We almost have this thing rocking and rolling and ready to go for the first withdrawal here on the 25th. This thing looks cool. So everything is going to happen over at Node Market, everything in the world. So
yeah, don't do it anytime soon because you're going to get your ass kicked on fees.
Yeah, you're going to pay gas fees. So I would just hold off, honestly. These things will accrue. These things will stack. And they're not going to go away. It's not like you have like 30 days to claim it. You can have like a year to claim it or whatever. Whatever, you know. So wait till fees drop back down to normal levels. 10 gwei, 20 gwei. Okay. Don't pay 61 gwei or whatever this is here. This is absurd. And somebody asked me once, what's the relation between gwei and gas fees? So gwei is the Ethereum. It's just the term that they have for the gas fee on Ethereum. And that transfers over and like basically maths out to the gas fee in US dollars. So when you see your gas fee, it's US dollars. It's basically just quoting you so you can read it as a human type of thing. But it's actually a percentage, 0.0, whatever gwei it is. And so this numbers kind of gives you an idea of what gas.
No, that's not the claim, Ronald.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't even anymore. I can't even. But that would be, hey, I tripled my money in one day. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, that's all.
Anyway, let's see. Private client news would be, so the hypercycle payments, it should be tomorrow. It'll either be, I mean, it's going to be now. I might even do it early. I might even use some of my own tokens just to get it done.
Not with these gas fees, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to watch gas fees over the next day or two. So sometime between right now and tomorrow evening, I'll get those. I'm hoping that on Thanksgiving, like gas comes down a little bit. So, but anyway, hypercycle payments will go out the 23rd. 2 days later, the Sophia tokens will go out again to private clients that got early tokens. And then it's to December 3rd for Cogito. Crapgito.
You understand if you don't send too when gas is 60, right? You guys understand that, right?
Yeah, it's bad. So
I think it's okay.
And so I'm just watching. If I can get gas 30 or less, I'd probably start sending transactions, especially the bigger ones. That's like some people have like 50, 60,000 tokens coming. And again, if you guys are listing, if you go over to Node Market and you guys do a listing, when you go here, I would say if the market price is, well, that's easy. The basic market price was 85 cents. I'd be listing at 90, 92 cents, you know, somewhere in that area. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It makes no difference. Because if you do an OTC transaction, no one gets punished for it and it doesn't show up anywhere. But I would just say, for those of you that are looking to cash, for those of you, I guess the next thing we need to say is for those of you looking to seed node licenses, which is many of you, the Hyper AI box, that link that was sent out in the email, as far as I've understood, it is correct. Brandon, you saw it, right? Hyper Appliance. I think it's hyperappliance.ai.
Yep.
You can just type that in. Hyperappliance.ai. You can go there and you can facilitate the transaction, but it's only in like regular currency units. They don't take crypto. I don't know why that is. And they're certainly working on that. And Tufi also was curious why that is. He was like, why do we not take, but anyway, so I think that's going to be good. I think those are going to
I can fix my truck with crypto, but I can't buy a hypercycle transaction.
It is strange. Nick, in BIC on Node Market, when we buy, price listed is just what it's asked. How much is fees? The fees would only be the Ethereum fee, whatever is the transaction. You don't pay as a buyer. You don't pay any fees. That would come from the seller. The seller would incur the fees, not the buyer. It's like when you buy a house, anyway, or sometimes. But like you, whatever the price you see is the price you get. Okay, and then if it's $5 or whatever is the Ethereum fee, that's just the network fee. No one has control over that. Hawaii asks, Nick, how soon coming up to days to green should we start unstaking? No, you don't need to unstake assets unless there's a thaw period. So if everybody doesn't understand what that means, is sometimes on these protocols, for instance, in the Cosmos ecosystem, I believe that there is a 3 or 4 week thaw period. Like if you unfetch, what is fetch, Brandon? When you unstake fetch, I believe it's 21 days. So it's a 3 week thaw period, meaning you unstake and it's 3 weeks until you get your tokens in your wallet that you can use. Now, rewards are instantly utilizable unless you restake them. But anyway, I would say only on those assets which you plan to sell, because you can imagine if a real bull market comes, it's not going to only be 21 days or 20 days and you missed it because you couldn't unstake. You missed it. You would imagine it would be something sustained, similar to the beating that we saw for the last, more than 21 days. You'll have another shot at it. So I wouldn't stress about that. And a lot of this stuff, you can stake it and it's immediately available. So there you go. Did you happen to see Tom Emmer interview about the SEC and blockchain in general? I'm about 75% of the way through. No, I have not, but I know Tom is not a big fan of the SEC as it currently works, and he basically lit Gary Gensler on fire and said that the guy's just out of control and he's terrible and sucks at life. Okay. Those payments just for private clients does not affect DI. Which payments?
She's talking about the hypercycle payments. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's for digital private clients because they got early, they were early private round investors in hypercycle. Okay.
This is also because they're shipping from the UK. So, yeah, so they're shipping from the UK, so it's a little bit more expensive if it's going to the US. In Europe, if you're in Europe, I think it was only like $25, which is more normal-ish. It's just weird to pay shipping fees when we have dealt with Amazon for so long.
And yeah, the SEC, all those fines, the billions, it hasn't collected billions. The fines were collected by the Treasury and the Department of Justice. Like for Binance, that's not, the SEC still has a case against Binance, but that's not what yesterday was. That deal, the check that CZ wrote was to the Justice Department and the Treasury for violating a litany of things. I mean, we call him Sleazy CZ for a reason. This should not be a surprise. And I've always maintained he's not a thief, but he's a crook, right? So like you can be crooked and not be stealing. And I think he, in the beginning, he wanted so bad to get control over the market and kind of wrest control away from Coinbase, because in the beginning, Coinbase was a piece of shit. Coinbase would decide who the winners were by who they would list, right? There used to be a Coinbase effect. And Binance was like, this is sketchy. We're going to list everything. And they did. And then they listed too much stuff. And then they listed garbage. And then they listed and promoted garbage and they got caught. And then we started calling CZ Sleazy CZ because he would go back and erase tweets and pretend he didn't say stuff. And he would back sketchy projects. And he was all about token burns and just a litany of bullshit. But he's not a thief. And part of opening up Binance to the whole world was every other country wants to lock you up because you're slowly unwinding their legacy financial system. It probably took me, I can't tell you how long it took me to make payments through Chase yesterday and Monday. And I was on the phone with these idiots. And I was like, you realize in the amount of time we've been on the phone, I could have sent $100 billion around the world 45 times. Yeah, we're really sorry. You're not really sorry. None of you are really sorry. You're sorry. You're sorry at life, but none of those people give a shit about anything we do. And you can just tell in the way that they communicate with you on the phone.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
sir, don't
card. They want to give you a credit card. That's
$16 an hour, snotty piece of shit. Don't be condescending to me. I'll slap your little ass inside that freaking. Except that no one goes in the banks anymore. Now, if you walk into a bank, you look like a bank robber. Like, what are you here for?
It's funny you mentioned it. I sent my wife to the bank yesterday because we don't go in like forever. We had like 10 checks or whatever, but like usually you can just scan them into your app or whatever, but this didn't work. So my wife had to take it to the bank. And the check was so old, it was like 8 months old. They got mad at her because she'd waited so long to cash it, They're like, this expires. I'm like, how do these checks expire? Why should a check ever expire,
This paper is no longer worth paper.
Paper is no longer worth anything. They're like, it expires. You need to bring it in sooner next time. I'm like, what? Just because I held a check because I don't want to go to the bank forever, she got in trouble.
Why don't you do phone deposit where you take a picture of it?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, you can normally do the phone deposit, but we did. She was like, I'm just going to take this pile of checks. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, we do that. Phone deposit.
Lesson learned, lazy procrastinators. Oh, maybe it's all that time in Mexico you weren't depositing all these checks that pile up.
No, this one was for 8 months ago. It was like $8 check or something. It was silly.
Then what are you doing going to a bank with an $8 check? You know what? You should just tear that thing up.
That's it. Yep. That's $8. That pays for my car payment.
No, that's life tax.
I don't have a
which hyper AI box does DI suggest? We don't suggest any of them. We haven't used them.
That's true. We haven't
used them, so we don't suggest I'm not saying don't get one. I'm just saying don't lean on us. It's like asking me about a Ford Prius. I've never driven one. I'll never drive one. I don't know.
I'm bringing a Ford Prius to your house. We're going to drive it around.
Can you imagine?
I'm gonna rent it. I need a Ford Prius. I'm gonna rent it from the
A bright red one.
Oh man, we're all gonna squash in that thing and drive around
Yes,
LA.
you can. As far as we understand, you can now get your Hyper AI box. Would I recommend a VPN? No. I don't think you want to obscure the whole idea is that your Hyper AI box is communicating with other boxes in a like semi-local way. So I don't think you want to you don't want to hide it from the network. Like, look at me, I'm so secret. No, you don't want that. I don't think that works, and it also might slow you down as far as like relaying to the network and beaconing and stuff like that. So I don't think you should do that. I don't know anything about that wallet. I've heard a couple people talk about it, but I don't know anything about it. Let's see. U.S. government gain access to a wealth of data through Binance, including suspicious act. Yeah, sorry, but everybody files SARS. Over anything over 20K is going to get a suspicious transaction or an STR80 or a SAR form. My buddy works for. He's a criminal investigator for Treasury, and so he's like everybody cooperates, even if they say they don't legally. Everybody cooperates. They all have to file those reports. Anything over 20K is pinging a report. Period. Full stop. It is what it is. Is it safe to keep our BNB hypercycle, or should we bridge to Ethereum? Well, you can't bridge to Ethereum. So there you go.
You'll speak to that just a little bit too. All BRC20 tokens, like they're all fine. I mean, basically the whole protocol would have to fail, which we're not talking about protocol here. We're talking about just Binance itself. We're not talking about the BNB network, even though it is a crappy network, but whatever. So it's not going to mess with your tokens or anything.
Charles Hoskinson seemed to have liked CZ. It's the end of an era. No, it's the end of an era of crime. I mean, CZ is a dirtbag. So look, even if you didn't think CZ was a dirtbag, when he aligned himself with Justin Sun and started doing massive billions of dollars worth of transactions across Tron network. Well, Justin Sun is a criminal, like wanted all over the place. He's hiding. So if your best friend is John Gotti, like, come on, man. Like, people don't hang around bad people all of a sudden unless, maybe they got one foot in the bad stuff. So Justin Sun's a piece of crap. CZ, he may have good intentions, but he's done very sketchy shit for a long time. Hence the name Sleazy CZ. And this is not a new name. We were calling him this back in 2019 because he was always a sleazy kind of piece of shitty dude. And he would get on these calls on Clubhouse. Were you ever on Clubhouse, Brandon?
No.
So he would get in these big rooms on Clubhouse and people would be like, rah, CZ. And then a few of us would ask questions and he would read the question and ignore the question. Straight up. And then his little underling people would read it. Oh, we don't understand. What do you mean you don't understand? Did you back this company? This company's a scam. Did you erase your tweet? What part of that don't you get? Oh, but you're really fucking smart when it comes to everything else. Just this question seems really tricky. Maybe the way we word it in English, because come on, man. So people just started calling him Sleazy CZ way back then. So it's not like fast forward 4 years and he's become this shining example. It's just that Charles is a very nice guy and basically tries not to offend anybody, and good for Charles. He's a statesman. Charles is a very he tries to be decent to everyone, but would Charles loan CZ $50? Not if he expected to get it back. Come on. Let's see. Do you think Kraken will falter? I think they're going to pay some fines, and I don't think they have the relationships that Coinbase does, but I think they're going to fight it. I think to Howard's point, I think they're going to fight. Let's see what's going to happen to Coinbase. Nothing. They're in bed with BlackRock. Coinbase is going to be fine.
Did you see Brian Armstrong obviously came out yesterday touting Coinbase, saying this is why we've been playing the long game. This is why we've been conforming to all these laws and all this stuff. And this is why we do what we do. We're Coinbase, but really at the end of the day, they're holding hands with a lot of these people.
Yeah. And
look, they work out for them.
Don't forget, Coinbase was the company that went to the Treasury, not was summoned, but went to the Treasury, and they told them, hey, would you like us to provide you with client information? They willingly went years ago, like 2018, and they asked the Treasury, would you like to have us view some? They actually tried to sell the Treasury data. They like tried to sell their client data. So
basically,
Brian Armstrong is a piece of shit. Okay, make no mistake. He is a piece of shit, but he is not a crook, and he won't steal from you. He is the dude. He's the hall monitor in high school. That's like your buddy at recess. To keep him from getting beat up, he'll be your buddy at recess.
He'll narc on you in the back room.
He'll be like, hey, see if you can get to class quicker. I'm like, get to class. You're not my teacher. Get out of my damn way. Anyway, he's that guy. And you probably don't want to look at his search history on his computer because I bet it's sketchy. Anyway, there's that. Okay, should we get into some AI news?
Oh, yeah.
There's some good stuff.
What do we got? What do we got?
Well, first.
What?
Okay. Hey, I love that little thing. Sam Altman returns as the CEO of OpenAI, and Claude gets a huge update in his 2.1 release. I wish Claude was more mobile friendly. But anyway, OpenAI, the saga continues. So this time, we did a timeline yesterday. We kind of went, or was it yesterday or Monday? Anyway, maybe it was yesterday. It was Monday. Okay.
So Monday, yeah.
Friday gets fired, then they talk to Microsoft, and then there's the big petition, 760, all this kind of stuff. So late last night, it was announced that Sam Altman will be coming back. Ed Shear reportedly said he would quit if the board couldn't. So the guy that they just hired, Emmett Shear, they hired him, I don't know, some amount of hours ago, said he would quit, basically giving himself an exit. Remember, he wasn't the first choice. He was like the third choice. Like the only dude that would answer the phone, because everybody's like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. And he's like, I'll take the job, only to be replaced less than a day later. But he told the board he would quit if they couldn't communicate, they being the board, why was Altman fired? Right. Like he's a big Altman supporter. Like he's on the Altman team. Like, get off the gas. Anyway, so throughout all this crazy drama, the team at OpenAI launched a new feature enabling ChatGPT with voice to all the free users. So now free users, the freemium model has the voice thing, which is really cool. It's very conversational. I think it's badass. Anyway, after the announcement, a widespread ChatGPT outage occurred. Why? Because it's so easy to use. I mean, in my opinion, it's really easy to use. People were starting to play with it. And once the freemium got it, that was it. And so now users are reporting a mysterious ChatGPT alpha. I don't even know what that is. Another report surfaced that Helen Toner, one of the 6 board members, might have been the reason for the firing. No, not might have. She was the one that Ilya Sutskever got in with, whispered in her ear. This is where that all started. I think that whole board goes away. In my opinion, all of them got to go. Anyway, we'll see what happens, because man,
there might be 1 or 2 of them left that were sitting in the corner during the whole thing, got pushed around, possibly, if Sam really likes them. But Sam's gonna have to vouch for him and basically.
It's just now Wednesday. Otherwise, look at all the crap that's happened since Wednesday, since last Friday.
Oh, we're building that Netflix documentary. That's what we're doing.
Anyway, Helen, she's probably gone. Who is the weakest link? Helen, that's you. You are Brutus in this case, and you've been caught. OpenAI announced last night that Sam is going to be returning with a new initial board of directors that will eventually expand to 9 people. So old board out, new board in place of old board. This is going to be a great, it's going to be the good Netflix documentary at some point, and it'll be almost in real time. It'll have like that kind of, like really kind of pressury music, and like, oh man, this is going to be good. It's going to be like that scene in Heat when they do the bank robbery, but like the whole movie will be like that, but without guns, or maybe guns. I don't know. Anyway, you wonder if they're ever going to kind of explain in detail the initial firing decision and how how they just arrived at that conclusion. My guess is Ilya goes away, and what other company on earth would want to bring that dude on board? Like, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, Claude, for those of you, I know, Brandon, you use Claude, do you not? You do?
I use Claude once in a while. I've been using Chat, GPT-4 way more just because of Dolly. I've been making images for like everything. But like, yeah, Claude works too.
Well,
I go back and forth.
At Anthropic, remember Anthropic was people that left OpenAI. Anyway, Anthropic released Claude 2.1, which features a bunch of new upgrades, including doubled context size, because of course they had to do better. They had to one up ChatGPT or GPT-4 Turbo, 2 times fewer hallucinations, and new tool integrations. So now it's a 200,000 token context window, basically about 150,000 words. That's a lot. That's like so many words for analysis. So like a book, you could put a book. This is awesome for white papers. So I got, I'm getting the new kitty, right?
Yep.
And I got new pictures. I think, did I send you the new pictures of the kitty?
Yeah. You sent them.
So they're bottle feeding him now.
Wait, you didn't send me any bottle feeding ones?
Well, the new pictures are just him like running around and him kind of like moving. He is so badass. Anyway, he's only 3 weeks old. He's already getting big. But to revert back, they sent a book. They have a book that the breeders have developed of how to deal with servals and savannas and the high percentage cats and like what their diets are and just all this stuff. So they sent the ebook. I took the ebook, put the ebook as a data element in GPT-4, and now I can just have conversations with it. So I just go back to that discussion and I just say, hey, I'm thinking about feeding the serval kitty, this, does that fit within the diet? No, you cannot feed him that. You need to make sure that he has liver and, give him a live human baby and like all this stuff. So like it gives you, and you can go back and hit, because it's using that reference material as its source material. And then what it will do is when it needs more, you'll see another little box pop up and it says searching the web, browsing the web for more information. And it will go through. It's really cool. Like GPT-4 is getting badass. So I like the fact that Claude is kind of, doing kind of similar improvements. Anyway, Claude has reduced incorrect answers by 30%, which is good. A 3 to 4 times lower rate of mistakenly concluding a document. That's what they're saying. Okay, so they're going to look for more information. The new tool beta feature uses Claude to directly leverage developer APIs, knowledge bases, data sets, data as a commodity, data. And remember, just a few weeks ago, OpenAI had said, before the whole craziness, they had said, we're basically run out of human-created data. We're now seeing a market's going to be for synthetic data. So that's, come on. Like if that doesn't tell you how valuable data is going to be, if they're moving into a whole market of synthesized data, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, so basically, a day after the OpenAI board reportedly contacted Anthropic for a merger, right? So they tried to merge, and Anthropic was like, hell no. Apparently, it says CEO Dario Modi woke up and chose violence with new upgrades that continue to make Claude 2 the most capable kind of GPT alternative. And you might say, what about Gemini? When's Google going to release Gemini? Well, every time Google tries to release Gemini,
they're already behind.
Yeah, they're already behind. So basically GPT-4 will, or OpenAI would release something to pull a dick move on them, and then Claude would have an upgrade to pull a dick move on them. It's like they never get out of the starting blocks. I mean, would you have thought a year ago that Google would be just kind of a nothing, like a really non-entity in the space? Isn't that crazy?
It's strange. They either better have something so explosive it blows everybody's minds, or stay out of it. I don't at this point, but they can't stay out of it. I don't know.
The something that was cool, the reappointment of Sam is accompanied by a bunch of new board members like Brett Taylor, CEO of Salesforce, Larry Summers. You say, Larry Summers, isn't that? Yeah, the former Secretary of the Treasury. That Larry Summers. Adam D'Angelo, CEO of Quora, where you can ask questions and get terrible responses. So, but at least it's kind of cool. Microsoft, which is a key investor and collaborator of OpenAI, had expressed interest in having representation on the new board, highlighting their intertwined futures of the two entities. Additionally, an independent investigation is set to be launched to examine the circumstances that led to the recent upheaval. Again, does anybody here think that Helen and Ilya are not sweating profusely at this moment? I mean, he's got to be like crafting his resignation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
God, talk about, he must have, I bet the humiliation he feels now, I wonder how it compares to how good he felt Friday when he got to tell Sam he was fired. How, man, on that exit interview when Ilya gets bounced, unless he just quits, do you think he's going to get, Sam's going to be like, Ilya, I need you to come to the office, please.
He'll be sitting in his desk.
I need you to take us. Yeah, get out of my seat.
He'll be in his desk. He'll be like, hey, listen, here you go.
OpenAI co-founder Greg Brockman also posted a photo of himself in a large gathering of employees with a title, "We are so back," in the early hours of the morning, signaling his return to the company. So it's like, Jesus. And Elon's probably pissed because he was like, man, I'm going to get all these employees, these people. This is going to be awesome. Yesterday, Elon tweets a link to a letter that appeared to be an insider's summary of the reasons behind Altman's termination, citing hostile work environments and a clash in mission over the not profit, for profit, not for profit, not quite profit, give us some profit model that they're using. And the letter has since then been deleted. You can still find it if you bang around. Anyway, Claude 2, kind of awesome. Basically, the context window, to give you an idea, you can, if you have like a PDF, it can take in up to a 500-page PDF. Think about that for a second.
That's so much input. That's so many lines.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's like, I don't know how long the Bible is. That's got to be like most of it.
How many pages? I think it's like 800. How many? Here, let me ask ChatGPT. I'm right in there.
I guess it depends on the font size, doesn't it? Couldn't it all be in one page?
Yeah, but they're pretty. I think they either increase the page. Anyway, the number of pages in the Bible can vary significantly. That's true. 1,000 to 2,000 pages. Okay.
The only other thing I'm going to talk about is something cool. There's a lot of stuff going on in the visual space, MIT, Berkeley, and Stability AI, all releasing these cool upgrade things. But the only one that I thought was super cool is that UC Berkeley researchers introduced a tool called Ghostbuster. It's a SOTA AI method for detecting large language model generated text. Ghostbuster utilizes a 3-stage process involving probability computation, feature selection, and classifier training, and it outperforms the existing models detecting AI-generated content. It achieves a score of 97, which is really good. Why is this important? Well, as hypercycle participants, you realize that on December 9th or 8th, they're going to announce this AI to AI copyright organization, this international organization, and it's likely they will leverage models like this to ping things as AI generated, or at least partially AI generated, which would then send them over to hypercycle to do the compute to spin up an AI copyright. If it's viable. Now it's not like a direct link, but like this is going to come up more and more. So the more that people have the ability to determine what is and isn't AI generated, then you go into a different silo or a different spectrum of the kinds of copyright protections you can receive. And that's going to be the organization that Tufi basically created through his speech, and that Hypercycle is going to be underneath and supporting. So there's a whole use case of compute that people aren't even thinking about that could be as big or bigger than all of the other stuff that Hypercycle is even doing. If you think about it, talk about like mainstream, all these like images and stuff that we create, like on DALL-E 3 and all that, it's like inspired by humans, generated by AI, but as of this moment, you can't copyright it. You can use it, but you can't copyright it, but you will be able to. Hypercycle, bro. Anyway, cool. I think, yeah, if we don't have any other like obvious questions, no date for the marriage. The marriage is actually possible right now. The problem is there's nothing to do after the marriage yet. So my guess is within the next few days, because based on the last call we had, and I think even based on the This Week in Hypercycle, Tufi said that pretty much all of the audits had come back clean. It's just now that they want to make sure that HyperPG is ready to have nodes, tokens, and nodes in that direction. So I think it's a HyperPG thing right now, but technically, it's all technically possible. There's just no point. You don't need to do anything this second, but I would definitely have your tokens stockpiled and ready to marry. Okay. Yes, let's do that. Let's go and do our behind the scenes stuffs. So we'll see everybody else on the other side of the wall, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. It's not going to be a whole lot going on in the markets, so we can spend some time if you guys have more specific questions. For those of you that are joining us on the YouTubes on the freemium model, we bid you adieu. Stay in school. No, that's it. That's all you get. You don't get to talk to my grandma. It's just for you. Stay in school.
We're going behind the proverbial wall now to continue.